Far away from the hustle and bustle of Argentina's Santa Cruz province, two hydropower station projects built by China in 2013 carry the common hopes and dreams of the two peoples. For individuals, 10 years may be a leap in career or a major change in family life. But in the timeline of major national projects, this is just the beginning. Just when everything seemed to be going smoothly, an unexpected government statement suddenly broke the tranquility. The funding crunch hit like a storm, leaving both projects in jeopardy. Such changes make us very curious. Why would Argentina suspend these two hydropower station projects at this critical moment? Faced with huge investments that may be wiped out, should the Argentine government take responsibility? Before we delve into the answer to the question, let's take a look at the Sepernik Dam and the Kirchner Dam. These two large hydropower station projects are the result of an agreement negotiated between China and Argentina in 2013 and officially signed in 2014. The total investment in the two dams exceeds $10 billion, of which China holds 54%, while two Argentine companies hold 36% and 10% respectively. After 10 years of hard work, the first project is nearly 45% complete, while the other is about 20% complete. Once completed, the Sepernik and Kirchner dams are expected to provide Argentina with more than 1,310 megawatts of annual electricity generation capacity. This achievement is not trivial, meaning that the power generation capacity of these two dams will be comparable to that of China's famous Three Gorges Dam, which will significantly alleviate the electricity demand across Argentina and bring hope and light to this land. It is worth mentioning that these two hydropower stations will not only benefit Argentina, but will also provide additional power to surrounding South American regions, enhance regional energy connectivity, and promote economic prosperity. But just when people are looking forward to the early completion of these two dams, they will bring benefits to Argentina and South America. In February 2024, the Argentine government suddenly announced that it had suspended the construction of the Jorge Sepernik and Nesto Kirchner dams built by China due to a shortage of funds. Argentina's sudden decision was like a storm hitting the local construction site. As a result, the construction site, which was originally bustling with activity, has now become deserted and depressed. About 1,800 workers involved in the construction were laid off, lost their stable income, and their lives were in trouble. Although another 900 employees have kept their jobs, they can only barely maintain their basic positions, and their former enthusiasm and fighting spirit have disappeared. According to the project leader, China's direct investment in these two hydropower station projects has exceeded $3 billion. These funds are not only used to purchase equipment, materials, and pay workers' wages, but also involve technology research and development, environmental assessment, and other aspects. However, the Argentine government's decision to shut down operations put these investments at risk instantly. What is even more distressing is that the indirect losses caused by the shutdown are even more difficult to estimate. Take the Sepernik hydropower station as an example. The project has completed nearly 45% of the construction progress. It was supposed to be the harvest season, but it encountered a sudden shutdown. This represents millions of dollars in lost investment return each month, with future gains becoming out of reach. In addition to China suffering huge losses in this cooperation, Argentina also faces huge challenges. With the steady growth of the domestic economy and the improvement of people's living standards, the demand for electricity continues to grow, especially in industrial production and residential electricity consumption. The suspension of hydropower projects has directly aggravated the tension in domestic power supply, just like suddenly turning off a fan in a hot summer, putting huge pressure on Argentina's power system. To make matters worse, given the complexity and huge financial requirements of hydropower projects, if China chooses to withdraw, it will be very difficult to find a third party willing or able to take over in a short period of time. This will not only wipe out the huge amount of money that has been invested, but also make future projects a hot potato that no one wants to take on. So, faced with these challenges, why did Argentina make such a choice? According to the investigation, Argentina's decision to suspend 2 hydropower projects may be closely related to the Malay government's economic strategy. Since Javier Milei took office as the new president of Argentina in 2023, he has implemented a series of economic reforms known as shock therapy. However, these reforms have not promoted economic recovery as expected, but have caused many problems. Under Malay's policies, public services and subsidies were drastically cut, which seriously affected the daily lives of many Argentine people. At the same time, wage growth is slow and commodity prices continue to rise, exacerbating people's living burdens. Take meat as an example. Although Argentina is a major meat exporter, more and more people now find themselves unable to afford meat consumption. Meat consumption in Argentina has fallen sharply in recent months, with many households having to cut back on meat spending to cope with growing economic pressures, data shows. Against this background, the Argentine Senate took action. This is the first time in more than 20 years that the Senate has rejected a presidential decree. This is a clear warning to the economic reform decree proposed by Milei. This shows widespread domestic dissatisfaction and doubts about the Malay government's economic policies. In order to consolidate his leadership position, Milei had to suspend many projects to reduce financial pressure, and the suspension of these 2 hydropower station projects was part of it. Currently, the construction of these 2 large-scale hydropower projects cooperated by China and Argentina is suspended. To some extent, it is caused by human factors. Therefore, China has every reason to demand compensation from Argentina. However, considering that Argentina currently urgently needs to suspend projects to relieve economic pressure, it is still unknown whether it can obtain timely compensation. Although these measures by Argentina have caused huge losses to both countries. However, we hope that both parties can strengthen communication and cooperation, jointly overcome the current difficulties, restart these 2 hydropower station projects as soon as possible, and inject new vitality into the Argentine economy.